And you're watching your own ground, just looking at it going, grow, 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 something grow. And the ground just sits there. And maybe you get the little push through like the little kindergarten styrofoam cup with the dirt in the little tiny sad bean sprout. And maybe that's the best you've got is that little tiny bean sprout. And you're looking at it, I've waited and I've done. Wait. There's a poem, I can't remember the rest of it. It says, learn to labor and to wait. We are meant to learn to labor and to wait. To let God plant the seed and then say, I will wait for you to grow. I'll wait for you to grow. Doesn't some of God's stuff grow quick? Like a weed? And some of it is slow. And y'all, you need to remember the times where it grew fast and say, something else has grown here. I trust something will grow here too. I just have to wait. And we hate the word wait. W-A-I-T is like a 4-letter cuss word to us. But to wait on God to do what He's going to do is infinitely good. There are seasons where our field is fallow, where He plows and doesn't grow anything for a little bit. It's okay. You just wait. And sometimes God has corn laid out, and you look at what He's grown in you, and you go, awesome. And you are nothing but 40 acres of corn. Shimmering golden corn. And you're like, this is what I was made for. And then God says, I'm pulling out the corn, and we're doing wheat. But we went through so much to get the corn, Lord. And He says, I know. But we're going to do wheat this year. And I think it's going to be good. And the God that I love gets that sort of look in His eye. Like, let's grow us up some wheat. And our response can be, no, but corn. Or we can go, yeah. Let's go for some wheat. What I've said up till now is vitally important, and I hope you grab it, and you take that metaphor and use it for your own. I'm going to kind of expand on some testimony in my life where I've seen this happen. I don't want anything I'm about to say to take away from what I just said. About a year ago, I'm at a buddy's house. And we're hanging out. We're supposed to be writing a script. We're trying to work on this script. My buddy gets a care package. Settle in, this is a story. And my buddy gets a care package from his mom. And in the care package is this magazine I think it's called World, which is like the most generically named magazine, probably since time. World, let's come up World. World magazine comes in. What World magazine is Newsweek for Christians, which I don't know why you need that. But anyway, and so he's working in the kitchen making us up some food to eat while we work on the script. And I just start sorting through this magazine. And midway through the magazine I said, why did your mom send you this magazine? And he says, I went to college with a guy who they got an article about him in there. Oh, World magazine. Check it out. So I look over, and there's this article about this guy named Rob Bell who has done a large church in Michigan. And it's this article about these young guys who have done these churches that have kind of grown up out of nothing and done these kind of cool things. And very exciting things. As I start to read this article, I'm like, that guy is awesome. I mean, he just sort of, that's what happened. And, oh, man, that just sounds really, really cool. And this is one of 3 times in my life where the Lord just said and spoke. And it was clear as a bell. And I'm not saying it was a voice. I'm just saying God revealed something in me that I couldn't deny. And He said, this is what you're doing next, man. So I took the magazine and I closed it. And my buddy saw me. He's like, what's wrong? I don't know. I think God's telling me where I'm headed next. So he being a really sensitive guy, goes, walk back in to make some more macaroni. So I open the magazine back up, and I look back, and I start reading again, and there's that sense, that urge, that thing within me, that voice of God, that twinkle in his eye that says, it's wheat. It's time for wheat. So I read the article, and the only thing I come away with is the Lord saying, it's time, man. It's time to go. This was back in February of last year, and the Lord just said real clearly, this coming up is your last year with the crowd. You're on your way out, man. Well, I did what most Christians do at that point. I ran, and literally, I got on my running shoes and thought, I need to sort this out with the Lord. So I went and ran in my little ghetto neighborhood that I used to live in, and just said, Lord, what in the world are you talking about? And he said, it's time, man. It's time. It's time for you to leave at the end of this year. It's time for you to go, and it'll be okay. And all I could think was, where, Lord? And he wouldn't say. He would not say. And I had a couple ideas, but he would not say. And so he just let me run for a little bit and just kind of, it's like a dad saying to his kid, hey, we're moving, and you're going to go to a new school. And the dad just kind of letting the kid go, oh, okay. So I sorted through that stuff. And as I was running, I went to a street I'd never run on before, and this was kind of a P.S. as I was running through. I saw a little house I'd never seen in my life. And the second I looked at the house, the Lord said, and where you're going, you're going to have a house. So I kept running and went inside. And that was a year ago. And since that time, my question has been, okay, Lord, where? What's going to happen? And I don't need to drag all this out, but over the last year, especially with Kristen and I, it's been a big, giganto year of faith for me, where the Lord has spoken two huge, seemingly impossible things and has brought them to pass. So in October, I went out to visit a very, very good friend of mine who'd recently moved to Denver. So I go to Denver and borrow he says, drive around, tell me what you think of the place. So I drive around and drive to Boulder, Colorado. And as I'm in Boulder, I'm on the phone with Kristen, and she's like, she knows the story, and she's like, maybe the Lord has you in Boulder. Maybe we're meant to go to Boulder. Maybe do college ministry in Boulder. It's like, well, I don't think I'm meant to do college ministry next, but Boulder seems like a cool place. Get back to Los Angeles, walk into my office. This is 2 days later. Sit down at my desk. Very like, Lord, what? I got no clear signal in Denver. I thought Colorado is the place I ought to be. How come I didn't feel it? Like, I want to really feel it. Sit down at my desk. I get an email. Boop, email pops up. Guy I haven't heard from in, I'm not making this up, 2 years. Guy I knew at Bel Air Prez. Hey, Jeff. Haven't talked to you in a long time. Hope you're doing well. I know this is completely out of the blue, but there's a job opening at a church in Boulder, Colorado. Wonder if maybe you'd be interested in that. So I'm kind of like, huh? And I'm pretty thick, sharp as a spoon. So I call up Chris, and I'm like, what do you think about this? And she goes, it's from the Lord. Yeah. So I kind of threw an application in. The Lord kept showing me people who knew those people, going, I will talk to them about you. I will talk to them about you. In November, I went out and visited them, had a great visit. They're awesome people. What they want is a director of emergent worship. What that means is they're a very large church. They have a huge college group. They're right across the street from University of Colorado. But they got a great college program. They don't want a college guy. What they want is someone to come and do a very contemporary worship service, an emergent worship service, designed to minister to people who would normally never step foot in a church. It's some stuff that I've sort of been studying the last couple of years, kind of a little bit with some buddies. And so I went out there and interviewed, and it was great. And may the Lord bless you with this in your spouse. But where I don't have faith, Kristen has faith. And she steps in, and I'm able to borrow her faith. So when Kristen says, the Lord has spoken, this is for us, I was able to go, okay, I believe it, because I think the Lord speaks to me through you. And so for the last few months, I've been holding on to her faith, holding on to her faith, holding on to her faith, holding on to her faith. Long story short, we got a call about a week and a half ago, and they said, we want you. You're in. And so, and then I just got the final call just right before that it's a go. And so I just want to tell you guys that what the Lord has is good for my life. It's very good. I'm excited. Chris and I are very excited about kind of starting life over again together in Boulder, Colorado. It's a beautiful place. Come visit. Come by. We'll have a house. But there has come a time where the Lord has said, where I'm like, corn, check it out, corn. And the Lord goes, yeah, it's time for wheat. And you look at your field of corn, and maybe this is the way it is with some of you graduating. You're like, 4 years of awesome corn. And God's like, I know. It's time for some wheat. Y'all, it doesn't make any sense for me to leave this job. I love you guys. Do you know that? I love you. And I don't know all of you, but I love you. And my heart is for you. And for me to leave is very difficult. But I've been following God the last 3 or 4 years. It's been pretty awesome. And I just want a testimony to you guys that for me to leave, God's leading me into a spacious place. He's taking Kristen and I into a place where we just get to start over, enjoy each other, set up home, do a new ministry, talk to people we've never even met before, and do something awesome. He set something cool up for me, and it is pleasing to us. It is pleasing to us. But it's very hard to leave, y'all. But I know what God has for me and what He has very clearly enunciated over our lives says it's time. So my word tonight isn't really about me leaving. I think a lot of y'all caught wind of that at some point. I have these very random questions from people. Maybe it's new to you. I don't know. I hope it's not a big deal to you. I just want to tell you that when God speaks over your life, it's good, okay? It's good. Sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense, all right? Sometimes it hurts, even. There's times where you just go, what are you doing? And this is one of those times where there's a lot of that, what are you doing? But there's also a lot of, you're doing something cool in my life. And if you want to grow weed up, you can grow weed up, okay? And I just feel very blessed to be able to hear from the Lord like this. I want you to know, I've said this 100 times, I don't hear from the Lord because I'm the UM guy. I only hear from the Lord because I listen to Him. And you guys are in as equal a position as I am to hear from Him for your life. And I don't know what He's going to say, okay? I just know that He's good. I know that His provision is incredible. He owns my field. He's loving to my field. My field's hooked up with another field now. God looks at the... Not hooked up, but He looks at our field together and says, good, I'm going to grow something there. He looks at your field and says, good, I'm going to grow something there. Y'all, if you're not graduating, you have nothing to worry about. Someone's going to come in here, do a fantastic job. It'll be great. The Lord's provisional. So, anyway, let me finish with this cool verse I found today. So I'll be gone at the end of the semester. As graduation happens, I'll be gone. Luke 21, 1-4. As He, Jesus, looked up, He saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. I tell you the truth, this poor widow has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on. All I have to live on